Good afternoon. Welcome to Cool Springs. Today is Wednesday, January the 29th, 2025, and this special presentation is about a holiday that not a lot of people are familiar with called Spouses Day. Spouses Day has only been around as a holiday since roughly the 1980s, mid 1980s, and it initially started out as a holiday because you can get a lot of things declared holidays and put on a calendar that don't necessarily require days off from work or school like Memorial Day would be, but just to acknowledge the importance of certain things. This past weekend we had two holidays that made it onto the calendars in our country and in at least one case around the world. One of those holidays is called Holocaust Remembrance Day. The reason Holocaust Remembrance Day fell on January the 27th, and since it's a holiday that acknowledges something that happens to the Jews, you actually start celebrating it at sundown the day before, is because in 1945, the first of the concentration camps, Auschwitz, was liberated from the Germans by the Russian army, and the world finally had absolute, incontrovertible proof that the Germans had systematically rounded up people and put them to death for nothing more than being Jewish. Many more concentration camps were discovered over the course of the next few months and liberated. As it turns out, my own father, who was then a U.S. Army Corps of Engineers soldier, he and his unit liberated one of the smaller camps called Flossenburg. So he was an eyewitness to the Holocaust. Dad took some pictures and he lived with the memories of what he saw and smelt and experienced for the rest of his life. Neither I nor any of my siblings were alive at that time. Dad was 19 years old when he went off to war, and when he came home and he and his wife started having kids, we came along years later. But when we were teenagers, Dad decided we were old enough to see with our own eyes for the first time the pictures that he had taken, and he would share with us the memories because he wanted to make sure we didn't forget. So Holocaust Remembrance Day is this past week because the first camp was liberated. The other holiday that also this year coincided with it, January 26th, is Spouses Day. That was started primarily in the 1980s as a way for military members to show some love and appreciation to their spouses. The husband or wife that didn't serve in uniform but took care of everything at home while the military spouse might be deployed to war zones or be gone for training or be gone on some special mission and be gone for an extended period of time. And so it's a holiday that doesn't involve necessarily going to the stores and buying a special gift. This is January 29th. If you go to any store right now that sells food products, whether it's a grocery store, a pharmacy, some other store like that, you're going to see all kinds of heart-shaped boxes with candies inside, and you'll see other kinds of things. Maybe kids will get the little Valentines that have messages that talk about love and showing care for people, and they'll eat them as a chewable candy. Why? Because on the calendar, February 14th, which is right around the corner, is Valentine's Day. A lot of people celebrate Valentine's Day and they give the candy and they give the gifts and bring the flowers without knowing the history behind Valentine's Day. Spouses Day is one that very few people know the history of. It started out being just spend some time with that person that you've committed your life to. Maybe make sure that you tell them verbally, because some people are more than happy to give the candy and the flowers and bring the gifts and do acts of service. But when it comes to getting words out of their mouth that tell you, I love you, I care about you, this is why I love you, these are some of the things I've noticed that you've done. Some people have a hard time expressing it verbally. Spouses Day is supposed to be a day where you don't necessarily give candy or flowers or anything like that, but you make it a point to verbally express the love and appreciation you have for the person you're sharing your life with. And in my case, because my husband has now been promoted to heaven, I mean, I could go to the cemetery and I could sit there on the bench and talk to him, but he's in the grave, or his body's in the grave, he's in heaven and he's fine, but I can't express it to him verbally where he can hear it. But I can remember some of the things that we did together, the funny times, sometimes the hardships that we went through together, and I can celebrate the memory of my spouse. This past weekend, I was just sitting in the house and watching TV, and a commercial came on. And it happened to be for a local department store that specializes in men's clothing, and it's high-end, good quality merchandise. They do have a women's section, but they really specialize in menswear. And they happen to be having a sale right now. So the commercial comes on, and there are the owners of this mom and pop store talking about their sale and the merchandise. And it triggered an instant memory, because when my husband was alive and I wanted to get him a special occasion type present for his birthday or an anniversary or for Valentine's Day, we'd go to that store and I'd get him maybe a new outfit or some accessories or a new pair of shoes, because they sell high quality things. And it just reminded me of the man I love who's not physically here, but he is here. And he's here. And he'll forever be in my mind and heart. So Spouses Day, if you're fortunate enough to still have your spouse with you, you might want to put this one on the calendar for next year. And in the meantime, since we're just a few weeks out from Valentine's Day, you've already missed the deadline for Spouses Day this year, but you can make your own Spouses Day and just let them know how much you appreciate something that they've done, or how they take care of you, or just the fact that you appreciate their character. It's a good holiday to celebrate. We've added it to our list of holidays. When we do some of these special occasion ones, very often it's about holidays that are on the calendar. And maybe a Memorial Day. It might be a Thanksgiving Day. It might be, a holiday that people recognize. Not too many people recognize this one yet, but they should. Because you can use this not only to express appreciation to your own spouse, if you're fortunate enough to have one, but you can also teach that next generation that there is goodness in marriage, that there is a complementary togetherness that's something that's just very, very special, so that you can train up your kids to know how they should act and what kind of person they should look forward to adding to your family one day as their spouse. If they know that mom and dad care about each other, and mom and dad express that through words, through spending time together, through taking care of each other's needs, kids are observant. They can see and hear and watch. And really, whether you think about it or not, if you are raising kids, they're learning how to be a husband, a wife, a mom, or a dad from what they see in you. So Spouses Day is something that I think we need to emphasize more in the churches, because Christian homes are necessary to the health of a family and to the health of the nation. Thanks for watching.